Thank you for joining us. We will be meeting to go over the mitigation plan, which is replacing our reopening plan beginning this September. We have Marco from Tiegerman Elementary School here. He is our Spanish translator. Marco, if you could just begin by saying to our Spanish-speaking families that there'll be a separate Spanish presentation that you will take care of, and we are very thankful for that.
Sure. Buenos días a todas las familias hispanas aquí, la familia Tiegerman. La presentación hoy es en forma para informarles de nuestra preparación para el año que viene en septiembre 1. Si les gusta o tiene dificultad entendiendo esta presentación que está en inglés, hoy tarde va a estar grabada en español para que ustedes puedan entender y va a estar en nuestra página web y ese es el tiegerman.org. Al final de esta presentación va a haber un momento para que ustedes hagan preguntas y las señoritas y las directoras ahí les pueden ayudar o le van a hacer que me llamen a mí. Que disfruten, tengan un buen día.
Thank you so much, Marco. We appreciate it.
I'm just going to hang on in the background there for a while.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you. Okay, thank you again, everybody, for joining us. This presentation is being recorded, so it will be available to you after we meet. But we are going to start by a quick introduction. Ms. Karen Katzman will get us started, and I will begin to share our screen.
Well, good morning, everybody. You all know that health and safety is our priority at Tiegerman. We love your children, we care about them, and we spent a lot of time and effort into this mitigation report and to advise you of what's going to go on, because we know that we like to be transparent and keep it open to everybody. I just wanted to start with something that Dr. Eileen Fontanetta, who's our doctor, came to me the other day and said, Karen, can you please make sure that you tell everybody if your child does not feel well, to please keep them home. If any of the symptoms are the symptoms on your attestation forms or any symptoms that are related in any way to COVID, please make sure you keep your child home. Just the same way as we have told our staff and will continue to tell our staff, if you don't feel well, please stay home. It's for the health and safety of all of our students. So as you can see, this is Tiegerman. We believe in teaching the extraordinary. And on our administration, certainly Dr. Ellen Morris Tiegerman is our wonderful CEO. Dr. Christine Radzibus is our terrific COO. And Dr. Jeremy Tiegerman is our superior director. And I just want to introduce myself. We have Karen Katzman. I'm the principal of Tiegerman Elementary and Preschool. We have Joanna DiGianni, who's our acting principal at Tiegerman Middle School. Kristen Lyons is not available at this time for good reasons, very good reasons. She's on maternity leave. And we have Ms. Nina DeVita as a principal at Tiegerman Woodside. And we have our wonderful Miss Lauren Leonardi, who is the principal at Tiegerman High School. So you get to know who is the administration of our school. And of course, we are all planning now. We're all in the process of planning. I know you're all going to be off in the next couple of weeks, but we are going to be here planning for the 2021-2022 school year. It's important for all of you to know that we are indeed following the CDC and New York State Department of Health regarding guidelines for the health and safety of our students and staff. And of course, this is fluid. Things change, as you all know, as you're all living it every second. So whenever we get any updates, you will be the first to know. We work very hard on it, and it could change day one before we start school. So we know that September is fast approaching. We're hoping you're going to enjoy the next 2 weeks. We so hope that you enjoy the summer, but we are still focused on not only academic excellence and being extraordinary and having a sense of purpose for your students and a place for your students, but we do indeed believe that all of our students can achieve and are successful, and that's what we push for. But of course, these are certainly unprecedented times, so we're working every single moment of every single day to make it to be the best we can possibly be. So what do we expect? We expect the same for our students as we expect for our staff, 100%. So arrival procedures. You are all have to fill out the one-time health attestation form, the health screening attestation form, but of course, please do that every day as well. And that's why we say, if your child is not well in something, please keep them home and please call your nurses at school. We are asking that, you give masks to your students, to your children. However, we certainly We certainly have a lot of masks, and we have a huge amount of PPE equipment in the school. We're very, very lucky that we have it. We got it way before this whole thing really started. So we are able to provide your children with masks, but we certainly need your children to wear masks before they come in. We are asking students to wear masks throughout the whole day, but please know, and I've spoken to quite a number of parents about this, we do give mask breaks. So that's important, not only lunchtime, but at other times as well. We do absolutely give mask breaks so that the students will feel comfortable. But we are asking them to wear the mask, very, very important. Certainly all the students will have their temperature taken before they come into the building. We have our busing staff, administration task force will be responsible for that. And all students are always asked to wash their hands and or use hand sanitizers upon entry to the building. Not only upon entry to the building, but also during the day. We have so many maintenance people walking around the building constantly, cleaning every room. Before we even come into the building, the night before, all the administrators get an email from maintenance saying that the building has been cleaned the night before. Everybody on their door gets a strip of paper that we have to go through in order to get into our room. So we're extra careful with cleaning, and we have been since day one. Well, what do we ask the staff? The same thing. But the staff has to fill out daily health attestation forms that we do at home or we do when we come in, but most of us do it at home on the computer every single morning. It's been our tradition now. We get up in the morning and we fill out attestation forms every single day saying that we're okay. We have our temperatures taken. We have to wash our hands or use sanitizers. And if anybody, a staff member or a student, has a temperature of 100 degrees or above, they will be required to leave the building. A staff member, of course, will be required to leave the building. A student will be taken directly to the nurse's office. We have so much, as I said, PPE equipment, and it's provided to the staff and students. Okay, dismissal will be conducted over the loudspeaker. Students remain in their designated classrooms until the bus is called. That's what we always do. We used to go into our gymnatorium in our school. We do not do that anymore. We have one bus at a time, and students will enter and exit the bus while always practicing social distancing. So again, busing will be dismissed one bus at a time. And we use the non-contact thermometers on our heads, of course. We take all temperature of students, we take temperature of staff, and we also take temperature of visitors. Visitors also have to fill out attestation forms. And parents and all of you guardians, any school staff will be instructed that any student, as I said before, or staff member with a temperature of 100 degrees or greater and or have symptoms of possible COVID should not be present in school. So essential. And Tiegerman Schools temperature checks are conducted per U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission or DOH guidelines. Please, ideally, check your children's temperature at home. Staff, check yourselves at home. And again, I'm not going to have to repeat about 100 degrees or greater. The children will be immediately escorted to the building nurse's office for examination and determination of the next appropriate steps. Staff, as I said, and I know I'm repeating a lot of it, will be asked to leave the building and to contact human resources.
Okay. Oh, sorry, Karen. So our schools will regularly refer to the Center for Disease Control and the New York State Department of Health guidance for any symptoms of COVID, and also make sure to blast. I'm sorry, can everybody just mute so that there's no
Got it. Okay.
Okay, thank you. We will blast out any updates from the CDC or Department of Health to all of our families, as well as the staff, so that everyone is up to date on any guidance we receive. That way you are kept in the know.
All right.
So masks, I know Mrs. Katzman touched upon this, but it's very important. They are required upon entry and worn when in the building, besides the mask breaks. All staff that have not been vaccinated are encouraged to wear 2 masks, and staff members that have the vaccine are permitted to wear 1 and can wear 2 if they choose to do so. We also have additional PPE available to our staff as well as students, should they need. We have shields and other PPE to make everyone feel as comfortable as possible. Effective June 14th, mask wearing outside of the building is no longer required for students and staff. So any outdoor events or physical education classes that are held outside, they do not have to wear the mask, regardless of their vaccination status. This applies to students and staff. However, we do understand that there may be students, staff members, or family that would feel more comfortable continuing to wear the mask when outdoors. So we fully support that decision and allow for anyone who feels more comfortable to continue wearing the mask outside to do so. We encourage everyone to be respectful. Safety is most important, and we want to, respect everyone's feelings. So visitors, also as Ms. Katzman said, visitors entering the building would have to go through the attestation form, the temperature screening, and the hand sanitizer. We ask that any visitors coming into the buildings should contact the building principal. That way we know. You may also contact the receptionist. I know the visitors that we've had thus far this year have been very good about following this and filling out the attestation forms and temperature screening. Okay. So if anyone presents with any COVID symptoms, they must leave immediately. If any staff members, contact human resources as well as administration in order for us to provide coverage. Any students that present with COVID symptoms must be sent to the nurse's office for examination in order to determine the next steps, which may include, giving you a call to pick up if necessary. If a staff member has been exposed to a positive COVID-19 case, they also have to notify human resources as well as administration, so that way we can conduct proper contact tracing, notify any individuals that have been in close contact, including families and other staff members. If students have been exposed to a positive COVID case, you would, of course, notify if you find out while your child is home, after hours, notify administration. If it is found out during the day, the student would be brought to the nurse for examination. And again, we would determine the steps needed to be taken by conducting contact tracing here by administration. Students who are sent home because of a positive screen, so if they're presenting with any of the COVID symptoms, they are separated. As we said, the nurse would assess, and then they would be sent to the overflow room. The parent or guardian, or if parent or guardian is not able to come, an emergency contact could also come and pick up, which is why it's very important that we have up-to-date contact information. Those forms indicating any family members, relatives, or close family friends that are able to pick up in an emergency situation. It's more important in this year more than ever. Our staff is also going to be trained in the symptoms of multi-system inflammatory syndrome in children. This is going to take place during our staff development. which will be before the start of school, the 2 days before school, August 30th and 31st, we will be conducting this training. So that way the staff is aware of symptoms associated with COVID-19. This multi-system inflammatory syndrome in children can be very serious. So we want to make sure that the staff is aware. We would, of course, notify parents, families, guardians, if your child shows any of these symptoms.
Okay, school closures. We hope and pray that we will never have to close school the way that we did on March 13th, 2020. We can all remember that date, last day that we were in the building. But it's important to know, obviously, with the new variant that is out, we have to make sure that we collaborate with the local health department to determine parameters, conditions, or metrics that will serve as early warning signs that positive COVID-19 cases may be increasingly beyond acceptable level. So again, we are very transparent with the parents. We'll be sure to keep all families informed as information is provided to administration. As Karen Katzman went over, cleaning and disinfecting is so very critical to our day-to-day routine. Okay, so we can continuously conduct regular cleaning and disinfecting of the facilities, and more frequent cleaning and disinfecting for high-risk areas used by many individuals for frequent touch surfaces, including desks, therapy tables, doorknobs, etc., which will be cleaned and disinfected between each individual's use. If shared, obviously related service therapy rooms as well. Cleaning and disinfecting are the primary responsibility of the school's custodial staff. And like Karen said, they're in certifying every single day that the school has been clearly and cleansed throughout the entire building, and staff are also made aware of that as well. Cleaning and disinfecting will be rigorous and ongoing and will occur multiple times per day or more frequently as needed, as such if there is a student and or staff member in an infected room. Ventilation. All Tiegerman schools have installed air filtration systems in each of its buildings. They run 24 hours a day. So even when we are not in school in the physical space, they are running. Additionally, rooms will increase in ventilation with outdoor air to the greatest extent possible, obviously opening windows and doors while maintaining health and safety protocols. Signage. It's very, very important that our students and our staff have as many visuals as possible. Some of the signage includes staying home if they feel sick, covering their nose and mouth with an acceptable face covering when unable to maintain social distances from others. Properly store and when necessary, discard PPE equipment. Adhere to social distancing instructions. Reporting symptoms of exposure to COVID-19 and how they should do so. Obviously following hand hygiene and cleaning and disinfecting guidelines. And of course, following respiratory hygiene and cough etiquette. The curriculum, health and safety is also very, very important. All students grades pre-K through 12 and even beyond 12 will be retrained this school year on healthy hygiene, hand washing, and mask wearing. These topics will be reinforced and discussed also during related services as well. Speech, counseling, OT, PT, everyone needs to be retrained and positive reminders. Classroom setup and social distancing. Okay, students will remain for the upcoming school year. Students are going to be remaining in their classroom throughout the duration of the day. Okay, the student desks will be arranged at least 3 feet apart while they're sitting for instruction. All desks will have a designated placement and will not be altered. So they will not change their desks to configure any sorts of shapes and or group gatherings. There are tape markings and decals that are placed in the classroom and hallway to reinforce and provide, like I said, those visual reminders to maintain social distancing. Classroom materials, writing utensils, books, rulers, calculators, textbooks will not be shared among students. So we're still making sure that everyone has their own items to work with. There is a 6 feet distance requirement when eating meals or snacks or drinking. So that is different than the 3 feet in the classroom. Individuals participating in activities that require projecting their voice, such as singing or playing a wind instrument, must be 6 feet apart, and there must be 6 feet of distance between the performers and the audience during performances and concerts. I know here at the high school, we've done a lot of things outside to help alleviate some of those requirements, and I believe the other schools have as well. And 6 feet of physical distance must be maintained in common areas and outside of classrooms, lobbies, auditorium, gymnasiums, cafeteria, and hallways whenever possible.
Okay. Going over some technology and connectivity. Tiegerman schools will continue to survey all parents and staff regarding access to technology, Wi-Fi, and internet service. We're currently trying our best to make sure that all of our families have all of these required nowadays technologies in order to be able to participate in remote learning if by ever we have to close school again. Again, we do our best to make sure that doesn't happen again, but in the case that it does, we want to be prepared. We're also doing our best to make sure that all of our students have access to iPads as well. Tiegerman schools will provide a technological device if necessary to students and or staff to facilitate in-class and remote instruction. We utilize Google Classroom to facilitate instruction while in the physical and remote setting, which will provide multiple ways for students to participate in learning and demonstrate mastery of learning standards. Tiegerman schools will provide professional development, including instruction on using technology and IT support for students, teachers, and families on designing effective online remote learning experiences. So as Ms. DiGianni said earlier, we have before the students return to school on September 1st, all of our staff will be participating in professional development days, 2 professional development days. And this is definitely going to be part of a lot of our training on our staff. Tiegerman Schools IT department will be available to provide support to students, staff, and parents throughout in-person remote instruction. They can always be reached whenever you have an issue that's outside of the classroom, not specific issues. If you're missing links or therapy times, things like that, absolutely contact your individual staff that's responsible for your child's instructional or therapeutic education. But if you're having technology issues with the iPad or things like that, please feel free to email support@tiegerman.org at any time. Tiegerman schools will provide support and flexibility to students when designing remote online learning experiences and utilize consistent methods of communication in multiple modalities: recorded video, recorded audio, and written translation. Related services. So some things have changed slightly regarding related services from our reopening plan to our mitigation plan, which will begin in September. So group and individual services may be held in designated therapy areas based on what is deemed safest and most appropriate. Students will be seen for group therapy services. Mixing of cohort groups for therapy sessions will be permissible as long as the therapist deems it necessary and proper health and safety protocols are followed. After each related service session, therapy rooms will be thoroughly cleaned and disinfected before the next scheduled session. Therapists will also use hand sanitizer before and after each therapy session. Social emotional well-being. Counseling services are available in order to meet the social and emotional needs of students and their families. Counselors will develop and implement effective strategies to address noncompliance, poor attending, low frustration tolerance, and other behaviors that interfere with learning. Parents are encouraged to meet with their child's counselor about any issues at school or at home that may be impacting on their social, emotional, or academic development. Attendance. Attendance will be taken and reported daily by teaching staff and school nurses. Tiegerman Schools administration, school nurse, and guidance counselors will remain in contact with families should they not report poor attendance. Chronic absenteeism. Chronic absence or absenteeism is defined as missing at least 10% of enrolled school days. which in New York State is 18 days per school year or 2 days per month. Although flexibility is recommended when monitoring attendance in a remote instructional model, for students who have not engaged in remote learning and school staff outreach to parents and guardians has been unsuccessful, Tiegerman schools will explore a variety of methods for reaching out, such as students and families will be contacted on a daily basis to check in for attendance purposes in both the remote and physical setting. Tiegerman school staff, counselors, social workers, and psychologists who have established a connection with the students and families will contact the families or students who are not consistently in attendance. Tiegerman schools, in partnership with the Committee on Special Education, will provide translation for families who speak a language other than English in the home. Once contact is made, emphasis will be focused on addressing the student or family's barriers to attendance or engagement with instruction. Lunch and meals. Students will continue to eat lunch in their classrooms. Tiegerman schools will ensure social distancing between individuals while eating in their designated classrooms. So again, that's 6 feet between any persons eating and drinking. Tiegerman schools will prohibit sharing of food and beverages, example, family-style meals, buffet-style meals, or sharing snacks, unless individuals are members of the same household. Students will be required to bring in a cold lunch and water bottle on a daily basis. Restroom protocol. Students will be escorted to the restroom and socially distancing at all times. Tiegerman schools will ensure distancing rules are adhered to by using signage, occupied markers, or other methods to reduce restroom occupancy at any given time where feasible. Bathrooms will be monitored by staff to ensure social distancing and that students are washing their hands after each use. Important reminders. Fall packets will be mailed out prior to September 1st. It is very important that all documents are signed and returned to the designated school personnel stated on each memo. This includes the one-time attestation form, household income form, emergency contact form, parent directory, to name a few. It is so important that we have the most up-to-date information so that we are able to contact you in the case of an emergency. All forms should be filled out and submitted as soon as possible. And then just some miscellaneous items. Principals, feel free to join in if you have anything to add regarding our miscellaneous items. But COVID-19 testing, as you are aware, during the school year, we did conduct COVID-19 testing. I believe we started with Mrs. Leonardi's building, Tiegerman High School, and my building, Tiegerman School at Woodside, because we were previously located in a yellow zone, which Governor Cuomo had determined. So we were required to test, I believe it was it 20% of our students and staff on a 2-week basis or every other week. For health and safety concerns, we did continue that testing model, and we do plan on continuing that testing model going forward. Tiegerman Preschool Elementary School and Tiegerman Middle School also joined in that testing effort just to make sure that everybody was safe and aware of any possible exposure within the building. Anything else we should add about testing? Please look for updated COVID consent forms. We will not be testing any students who do not have consent forms. So we just wanted to make everybody aware of that. In regards to staff, staff must get tested. They must provide their consent. And again, they will be tested on an every other week basis, 20% of our staff. Field trips have been extremely difficult during this COVID-19 period. We've tried our best to get the kids outside and participate in any opportunities, but I believe OPT, which is Office of Pupil Transportation, who provides our buses for our students, including field trips, they have suspended the opportunity for us to take advantage of their services during the school day. Is that correct, Mrs. Leonardi?
Yes, over the summer session, that is correct. So the high school has gone on a couple of field trips via walking. There are a couple of parks near us, but that also goes into work-based learning as well. Nina, if you don't mind if I jump in there. We have been in contact with all of our vendors. We also have some new vendors. We do plan to continue to work on work-based learning hours come the fall. Again, it probably won't start until October, but all of our venues have been contacted. They have consented for our students to come in and to continue those so much needed work-based learning hours and experience and exposure. So again, field trips, like Mrs. DeVita said, we really held to OPT. I know that they did let us know for the summer session that they would not provide additional transportation anywhere, but come the fall, we're hoping that that will be rectified, and we'll be able to start utilizing the buses as early as October.
Okay, thank you. Next up is inclement weather, remote learning. So if anything good came out of all of this COVID-19 issues that we've been having, it is the opportunity that we've had to kind of explore the technological advances and the Zoom opportunities, a lot of in-person meetings that we previously had or scheduled, we are able to do just like this on a remote learning platform or a Zoom platform. So we do have the flexibility in terms of snow days, or previously, I believe it was in July, we had that terrible rain weather. We want to make sure that all of our students and staff who travel from all 5 boroughs and Long Island for some of our schools and staff members, we want to make sure everyone is safe when reporting to school. So in the event that we have poor weather, or it's forecasted, or we're currently experiencing it, there is an opportunity for our school to switch to remote learning. So we will utilize that and inform you of any changes to our regular schedule as soon as we can. And that is why we will absolutely make sure that our students are prepared and have schedules in the event that we switch to remote learning, as well as the technology. Anything else, ladies? Okay, Lauren, you want to take assemblies?
Yeah, sure. Assemblies are the same thing. We historically would have presenters come into the building present a presentation to the entire student body. That, at this point can't happen, but we are open to any virtual assemblies. We are, reaching out to families if anyone has, a contact specifically with regard to career exploration when we do career days. All of those days are so important for the students. They really enjoy learning about different careers. So again, as of right now, all of our assemblies are virtual unless they are held outdoors. So we're really trying to plan out the upcoming school year to see how many we can, gather before the weather starts to get to be inclement. So that's where we stand with assemblies.
Great, thank you. And just quick note regarding parent-teacher conferences, open school night, and parent trainings. We have had the opportunity to make those virtual this year as well. I believe going forward, we will be continuing to use our virtual platforms that are available since COVID is still a risk, especially with the Delta variant. So further information regarding parent-teacher conferences, open school night, and parent trainings will be forthcoming. Okay, and now we will take some time to answer some questions, comments, concerns. Again, just a quick reminder that this presentation is being recorded and it will be available to all of our families at Tiegerman.org. The principals will also have the link to this presentation sent out to all of our families. And then, as Marco so graciously said before, it will be available to our Spanish speaking students as well. And he will be conducting a recording of this presentation in Spanish. Okay. Lauren, do you want to start with the questions that were in the chat?
So I did have a question. One of the concerns is the ability for the students to go outside and release some energy. It would be, obviously to get outside and get as much fresh air as possible. So that is definitely something that we are going to be, working on this school year. In addition to some of the summer sessions, we have extended our Wi-Fi out to the basketball courts. So we are encouraging all of our classes at some point throughout the day to host their classes outdoors. This also includes related services. Some speech sessions have gone outside, some counseling sessions have gone outside. So we really want to try to allow our students to go outside as often as possible. Come the fall session, we will also reinstitute recess for our students. So that's also another opportunity for our students to go outside and get some fresh air, as well as, like I mentioned, the work-based learning that's going to start up. Field trips will start up to the best of our ability. So we'll do whatever we can to get them outside as long as the weather cooperates with us.
When in the elementary school and the preschool, well, definitely the elementary, we get them out for recess almost every single day if we possibly can. We find that movement is really, really important. And then the children have the ability, if they want, to take off their mask outside as well. So that gives us an extra time for the movement and for a different feeling of being outside. So we found that that's really been important.
Great.
There was a question also in the chat regarding COVID testing. So the COVID testing that we do in schools, I believe it's called a BioNex rapid test. It is a rapid test. It's not a PCR test. It is also a short swab, not a long swab. It's very quick. I know in my building, we have never had any staff or student issues with it. Our nurses are the representatives who conduct the testing. And like I said, it's very quick and all parents are informed right away if their student has been selected to be tested, and we do have consent. The nurses reach out to the families and make sure that they're aware of the student's results. I believe that we've never had a positive based on this rapid test. Is that correct in your building, ladies?
No, never.
Yep. So we've never had a student or staff member test positive as part of this COVID testing, knock on wood, but it is a procedure and precaution that we take to make sure that the health and safety of our students and staff, which is always paramount, just to make sure that it is regulated and it continues to be that case.
And it indicated other students prepared in advance. Yes, of course, we notify the families, the school nurse notifies the families. We also alert the counselors and the students in that particular homeroom or classroom, whatever it may be, so they are well aware of the process. So.
And then there was another one regarding testing. Do we need to provide a clear test before returning to the building? No, you do not. We do not require our students to get tested before returning to school on September 1st. There's been a lot of, I see, questions and concerns regarding when students are sick. We know that that attestation form covers a lot of symptoms that are just basic symptoms of a simple cold or a simple allergy. I know that I personally suffer from allergies, so I understand. But anytime a student does exhibit any of those symptoms on the attestation form, runny nose, coughing, nausea, throwing up, diarrhea, you name it, it seems like it's a COVID symptom nowadays, but the nurses do reach out to the families and give a phone call. And, if it's something that a student's been diagnosed with, such as allergies, the nurses really work with the family to make sure that it's not just something that they normally exhibit the symptoms for, that it's possibly a COVID symptom. I don't think we've had terribly too many students sent home. We've had, a few, of course, here and there, but I think that parents have been doing a fantastic job of doing their own health screenings prior to coming to school. And like we said, our staff do it on an everyday basis. They submit their attestations to us every day. Although families are only submitting the form once, we expect that everyone does it every morning. So if your student, you feel that your student is not feeling well and their day or their instruction is going to be interrupted by their symptoms and they're going to be sent to the nurse's office, the best bet would be to keep them home so that everyone remains safe. In terms of, if a student is absent, will remote learning be allowed? We haven't really received guidance, direct guidance on whether or not that'll be available, to my knowledge. Is that correct for you also, ladies?
Yes.
Yes, we will do the best we can, but as of right now, we don't have the answer for that, but everything changes, like Mrs. Katzman said in the very beginning, so we will do our best to keep you all informed.
There was a question specific to middle schoolers for homework. We are anticipating going back to our regular schedule, which would include the 10th period, which is our homework period. As far as switching classrooms, they will not be switching classrooms. They're going to remain with their cohort group, and the teachers will switch into them just as we've done this year.
With regard to the high school, will travel training and internship opportunities resume? Yes, they will. I mentioned that we have been in contact with our vendors and our partnerships, and we do plan to begin that as soon, probably as early as October. Again, permission slips will be sent home that you authorize your son or daughter to go out and travel train to those destinations. They are accompanied by a transition specialist who is supervised by employment specialists, so they're never by themselves. But again, you will be on the lookout for all of those forms. That typically starts at the summer of 10th grade going into 11th grade. So that's when that starts at the high school. And then will CSE and parent-teacher conferences continue to be conducted through remote platforms? Yes. For the upcoming school year, that's what the plan is.
Just going back regarding the, when the student is able to return after testing positive for COVID, right now, again, everything changes a lot. It is 10 days. So it's 10 days from the day that the medical doctor or the test has come back positive, I believe. Anytime we are made aware of a student or staff member testing positive, we do go through our health offices to make sure that we are following the CDC and the DOH guidelines, and we reach out to the families and we do proper contact tracing to make sure that everybody is made aware if they are a person of contact. Ms. Fataya, I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. You do have your hand raised. Were we able to answer your question?
No, hi, good morning. My son was home this past year, so we did not take a bus. So I have a quick question about the busing. Do you know if the drivers, matrons, are they required to be vaccinated? Am I allowed to ask him if he's vaccinated? Are they required to wear a mask while driving? How that whole scenario, how does that happen? I'm a little concerned about, putting my child on a bus.
So the Office of People's Transportation is responsible for their own procedures and protocols. We don't really have control over what they do. I can tell you from our experiences that all matrons and bus drivers do wear masks at all times. We file violations and contact the bus companies individually if we see differently. When students are on the bus, they do their best as well to have spacing between the students. I believe it's only one student per chair or bench. But if you had further questions, we definitely encourage you to reach out to OPT directly. And once you get your bus route or your bus company for September, reach out to the bus company directly and they should be able to provide you with their guidelines that they follow. Okay, there was an additional question. So I'm sorry, I lost it. Will snow days switch to remote learning as they did during the 2021 school year? I believe that is the case. We do have snow days built into our schedule. So I think we are continuing with that program, correct? That if it's a snow day, we will be switching to remote. So we will make sure to the best of our ability that everybody has an iPad, a device, and their remote learning schedule in the event we need to close for inclement weather. If one of the students is positive with COVID-19, will the other students and staff need to stay home? So contact tracing has, again, changed dramatically since the beginning of COVID. Lauren, you've had recent experience with this, I believe. Do you know what the updated procedures are?
Yeah, so the teachers are always staying, at least 6 feet away from the students at all times. It's the teacher assistants that have a lot of close communication and contact with the students while they're in the classes, because they, of course, they rotate around the classroom to assist the students. So, contact tracing guidelines do change. Our most recent case, we had a positive case, and there was a lot of movement going around in the classroom, and the student did test positive. So we did make sure that any staff member and or students that were in close proximity to that student, they would remain home for 10 days or quarantine for 10 days. Any teacher that was vaccinated would not need to quarantine because, again, they're vaccinated and they were kept within the social distancing guidelines that needed to be. But again, we do anticipate updated guidance, especially with the new variant coming before the school year. And again, like I said, any information that we receive, we will be sure to let you know as soon as possible.
I also wanted to add, being that we recently had a case as well, and middle school, high school age students also have the ability to be vaccinated. We gave options to vaccinated students, gave the information to the families of the students that were exposed for the case that we just had. If they wanted to come back in person, they would be sitting in the class with a staff member on an iPad. We didn't have many vaccinated students within that case, but it is a decision that we put to families. So it's very important to let us know if your child is vaccinated, so because that does impact the contact tracing and your options for returning or quarantining.
Is the plan that students are going to be in school 5 days a week if all is safe? Absolutely. We want everyone to return to in-person. Again, like we said, it's very important that they are in school, that they do get the support that they need. But with regard to the remote option, we're still waiting on guidance. I know a lot of families have been polled as to what your interests were, and we'll continue to keep you posted and updated as to what the plan is come September. But we will definitely be open for in-person learning effective September 1st.
I will say that in the elementary school, almost every family has chosen to be in person. So we do have a couple of remote. We do respect that. But I believe that if you are choosing to be remote, we are asking that you get a medical note. But I'm pleased. I'm very pleased that families are going to come back in person.
Same at Woodside. Majority of our families are welcome to come back to in-person learning. We are more than happy to see our students again come September. If students are able to provide medical documentation regarding any health concerns that they might have, we will have to work out some sort of remote learning if that's going to be an option, but that is, we haven't received any guidance from New York State. We're not sure if we will, but of course, as we've said multiple times, we do our best to follow anything the CDC or the New York State Department of Health puts out there. Again, we are a state-funded school, so I just want to mention and remind everybody that we follow what the New York State or the governor mandates for our schools. We are, some of our programs are located in New York City, and but I just want to remind everybody, we do not follow what the New York City schools do. Even when it comes to school closures, it's always a state decision or a Tiegerman decision. So please be aware of that. Anything else, ladies? Okay. Thank you everyone for taking the time out of your day to meet with us. We hope that we did a decent job of covering this tedious and ever evolutionary, virus that we're handling. We're doing our best. Again, our health and safety of everybody is just so important. This presentation can be found on the website. Our updated mitigation plan will also be available to all of our students and staff on the website as well. And we hope that everyone remains safe and sound. As Mrs. Karen Katzman said, enjoy your 2-week vacation. It's well-deserved. Can't wait to see everybody in September. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.